Hello, I am Nikki. I am a personal trainer and movement coach here at Studio 51. Welcome to one of the corners of the studio. So today we're going to be talking about shoulders and how some mobility work that I know can really help shoulders. There's actually heaps, and I'm going to do another movement video about the thorax. So a massive common occurrence of people is, say they've got shoulder pain. When I look into their thorax and how that movement platform works, or when you've got, so that's also thorax around the back as well, just so you know, when I work on their thorax and we release it off, get movement into there, their pain often goes away. So there's another video completely dedicated towards that. While this video, I'm just going to show you some shoulder movements that sometimes is the key. So I know that isn't giving you the answer, but remember, seeing me one-on-one will give you the answer. This is me trying to help you without the need of seeing me. So I just try and give people some help as much as I can. So one thing you can do, this is something we also learned, is just to check how your shoulders are moving first. Often this is a test. So you put your butt as close to a wall as possible. You soften, the knees are bent, so don't keep them straight. You put your thumbs out, arms out, and then take it up to touch the wall. That was actually a little bit tight. So what we often see is an overarch, and they literally, that was so easy because it overarched. Okay, so just keep everything neutral spine, hold your neutral spine, don't arch into the, open up the rib cage, we just have neutral spine, so there should be a little gap there. Bring the arms up and just see how they move. Now mine is a little bit tight. So what I often see though, I just need to say this to you, is someone going to about here, so they're about, they're off the wall by 5 centimeters or more. We actually don't want you lifting above your head. Say, pretending I've got 2, in a shoulder press position, if you can't do that test. So if you can't get your thumb up to touch the wall behind you, you should not be pushing weight above your head. You will be making this, you're emphasizing making this worse, or pretty much making it stuck, okay? Because you're getting that stronger. So you'll be pushing, it's actually quite unsafe, away from you rather than straight up, okay? So that's why that test is super important. But it's not saying that you never will be able to, we just need to get the shoulders moving better, and that's always my goal for people. So if you can't do that, it's not a stress, it's not saying you never can't do that, it just says that you really need to work on your shoulder movement. Limiting shoulders, like the rotation of them, we often curl in from our posture, that sort of thing, our desk work, and that all really tightens. And then people wonder why they can't lift their arms up, and that is often why they're really wrong. There's so many other reasons. So there's something else, I've suddenly lost it. No, can't remember. So we'll just get you started. This is one of the stretches that I often give clients, and we often start in as part of their warm-up routine if they need better shoulder movement. So I should show you here as well. You can also just test it how it feels going up and over, lying down. So if you're doing this and you did that one against the wall and you don't feel anything, this video might actually not be for you, but the thorax rotation one might be. So that might help you there. So just see how the movement is, bring it back. Now, we add a small weight, we take it up and over, enjoy that stretch, bring it back. So we're adding strength and length at the same time. So up and over, and then bring it back. And again, to there, and back. So you could do that, repetitions of 12, so do that, and then just bring it back. And you could do that, if you're doing it as a warm-up set, you'd add it in as one of the movements. If you're doing it now, just doing it 12 times is totally okay. It's a really nice way to warm up your shoulders, and just getting that length in there, and you should then, if you tested it again, you might be like, oh, I can now go further. I'm going to give you more movements now as well. So the arms go straight ahead, pointing up. I want you to drive that, so this is my right hand, up as high as you can. So you're trying to stretch through there, bring it back down. Left one goes up as high as you can, bring it back down. So you're holding for 4 seconds, bringing it back down, then the other side goes up for 4 seconds. I want you to do this 4 times each side. I may as well do it so I ensure that you guys do it right. So we're going to do it 4 times, 1 more each side. Bringing it back down, other side. And down. So now, we're going to now add a going across movement. So this right hand is going to come up and across. So really nice stretch down to the back. The shoulder blade up and across on the left. My left side is so much tighter than my right. You will notice little things like that when you start doing these sorts of videos. My right one feels nice and free and I'm like, oh, I hardly feel a stretch at all. My left one, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is way tighter. So you start to, when you do this sort of work, you start to learn about your body quite quickly and you start seeing where you've got some restrictions. So yeah, in my case, I'm like, oh, my left shoulder is way tighter than my right. Okay. So that was 4 times each side, and then I would stretch over, see how it feels, and then bring it back. Stretch over, see how it feels, and bring it back. So there is heaps of other movements. I'm going to give you a couple more. So even one such as being on hands and knees and literally just doing little shoulder circles can be really nice. So we can just do this. So I'm going one way 4 times, then I'll go one way 4 times in the other direction. It also wakes up your wrists. We often don't put weight on our wrists, which is another completely different video in itself. Then you can go uneven. So I've now taken my right hand, a hand distance forward, and I'm just rotating one way 4 times, and then I would rotate the other way 4 times. So, I had a little bit in here before we swap over. When we're kids, we are often on our hands, getting good strength in our wrists. When we get older, we often don't put weight into our wrists, and that's why it is so important to keep our wrists nice and strong. So from here, I'd actually go into a really nice child's pose. So go, take the hands forward, stretching down, and we just stretch the shoulders. Once you're down, you can also try take the fingers forward a little bit, hold it down for 4, and then you can actually come up, lean forward into it. Don't push down to the lumbar spine, going back down for 4 seconds. Try and get those shoulders as close to the ground as possible. Driving up, and then going back down. We're just going to do this 2 more times. And up. Keep nice breathing. What I mean by that is I just breathe in and out through my nose. And we come up. Now to add to this one that's really nice on the shoulder, I actually go down to my elbows and I take my knees back so they're not underneath my hips, and I stretch down. So I'm pushing my butt up and I'm pushing my shoulders back, if that makes sense. And then to come off it, I just come forward and kind of go into a plank with a nice stretch going forward, and then I push back. And then I come forward. So the same thing, 4 second hold, make sure that core comes on. Push back. That one feels so nice. I really actually love the stretch, it feels really nice. Push back. And forward. Any of these movements that feels nice, just know you can stay way longer on them. And we just want 4 second holds, but it's just my way of showing you different movements, but you can definitely do more than 4 times. Now, I want you to do thread the needle with a rotation. So, what it looks like is I'm going to take my right hand off, I bend my left elbow and I come through. So a really nice stretch there. I'm trying to get my shoulder as far down as possible. Hold for 4 seconds, then you come back up and you rotate to the side. Now, this shows you how tight the thorax is. So what I mean by that, which is going to hold for 4, come up and open. Now, I often see people that might not be able to go very far with their rotation. That means that we need to work on our thorax rotation. And I'm not saying mine's perfect, mine's definitely not. and I am working on my thorax rotation because I know I've got tightness in there. And we open. So you do that 4 times each side. And I just wanted to show one more that I've added a few times for clients this past week with shoulder stuff. We're just going to add a reach coming forward. So you'd be on hands and knees, and then what I'll get you to do is, this is my right hand, and I would bend my left elbow and I stretch it right forward, coming down as far as you can. And you hold for 4, you bring it back, and then you go out on an angle. Hold for 4, bring it back. So you just keep doing that, going around like a half circle in a way. But what you do, like that doesn't give me a stretch at all, but it might for you. What you're going to do is just see what stretch works for you. That whole thing might be what you need. Well, for me coming forward like this is what feels amazing. And then you would do the other side. So I would do 4 times on just that stretch. So do what is right for your body. You do 4-second hold. Chest up there. See, I don't need that. That doesn't feel much of a stretch. And you just check in what feels like a stretch. So that one actually did as well for me. So I would do a couple on those ones. So 4 each on those ones, if that makes sense. Okay, so there is some shoulder movements for you. Then what you can do, test a couple of ways. You can go back to the wall. Oh, obviously your shoulder might just feel better already. So the answer if the pain's better, we know that those movements definitely work for you. You can go back and test the wall, see if that is easier for you, or if you get closer, if you might now be able to touch the wall, or lie down, take the arms up and over, and just see how that feels. Like for me, it just feels so much looser, they kind of like this flop over. Do you know what I mean? So just see how the movement now feels in your shoulders. And again, if you notice that your rotation is really tight, we've got a whole video dictated to to thorax rotation, and that might be the answer. And we've got some more mobilizers for that as well. So there's lots of things that you can find on the website that might be able to help you. This is purely for our shoulders, trying to get them moving better and less pain in the body. As always, any questions, let me know. If you loved the video, you can let me know. If you didn't, let me know, I don't mind. And yeah, you can go from there. Cool, thanks guys, see ya.